Hi class, welcome to Chem 151 this semester. My name is Suzanne Willis and I will be your instructor. Today's video will just introduce you to myself and to the course, how the course will flow, and so you'll be set up to work your way through. A little bit about myself. I've been teaching at AB Tech the last 10 years and that has all been teaching chemistry. Prior to that I went to Appalachian for undergrad and then Wake Forest and UNC Wilmington for graduate school, and I ended up teaching high school for a little while and then at UNC Asheville, and then I landed at AB Tech and have loved it a lot. It's a great place to be. I really enjoy the students a lot and I love teaching chemistry, partly because it's not everybody's favorite and I kind of like that everybody comes to the door with different opinions about it, and I'm happy to try to make it as accessible for you and give you resources so that you can be successful. I have 4 children. They are 10, 8, 6, and 2. So they are, keep me busy, and I'll go ahead and say with that, if you ever email me and don't hear back from me within a day, always email me back. So I typically am very communicative and will respond to you very quickly, so if you don't hear from me, it might have caught me at a crazy moment and I forgot to get back to it. So I know that all of y'all are also probably juggling different things in life, whether that's kids or family or jobs, etc. So I understand that everybody has their own challenges and things that they're juggling. So please be in touch with me if I can help you at all throughout the semester. I'm glad to support you however I can. So here, let me show you how the course will work. I'll start with just the syllabus here. It'll help us just kind of have an outline as we go. So this is an asynchronous course, which means we will not be meeting face-to-face in person or Zoom. There are no meeting times. I'll show you the schedule for the class, and the way it'll work is you just have to hit certain deadlines. So you can work as quickly as you want to through the course, but you do have to you have to keep up with the pace at least. So you can kind of move things forward or back slightly as long as you're hitting due dates. So there is a lecture and a lab component to the course. Here's the materials that you'll need. So the textbook here is listed. However, you do not have to have this exact textbook. I will not ask you to read certain pages. There will not be assignments out of the textbook. So if you have a general chemistry book already, that will probably be suitable for the course. If you want to get an older edition, that would be completely fine. And then you also can have an e-text. That's what most students do. So I will go ahead and talk about that along with this right here, the modified mastering chemistry. The mastering chemistry is where your homework will be, and this is a required material for the class. So the way you can buy mastering chemistry, there's a few different ways. Number one is if you buy the brand new 15th edition textbook, it will come with a mastering chemistry access code. So it'll take care of both. That is option one, and it's the most expensive option. If you don't want to buy an expensive hard copy of the book, you can buy Mastering Chemistry Access Code with an e-text. And so then you have it there if you want it. It's on your computer. Most students, to be honest, in my classes, if you go through the notes and the videos as instructed, most students do not use their book very much. So that's why I don't strongly recommend spending a lot of money on the textbook. You do have to purchase the access code, and it has to be for the 15th edition of this book. So please double check when you buy this access code so that you don't open the incorrect one and can't return it. So that access code can be purchased at the AB Tech bookstore or just on the Mastering Chemistry website. So you can go straight to the website, get the access code, and it will come with an e-text, and that is a cheaper option. So that's a required material for the class. And then the lab manual right here is also a required material. It is just a paper booklet that we have made here at AB Tech. So it has to be purchased through our AB Tech bookstore. Make sure that you're getting volume 1, and it actually should say 2023. So it'll say our year right here. And so you'll pick that up from the bookstore or have it shipped to you, and it is only about $5. Okay? You'll also need regular internet access. You'll need a calculator that can at least do scientific notation like 5 times 10 to the negative fifth, but it doesn't need to do anything fancier than that. And then you'll also need some type of app on a phone or device where you can scan in your completed lab pages and submit them. So what these apps do is convert the picture that you take of your lab page into a PDF, and then you'll submit the PDF. What that allows me to do is then to make corrections and show you feedback on your lab reports, okay? You can try some of these free apps that I've listed here, and there may be others that you're more familiar with, and that's totally fine. I'd say the most popular one that students use is this CAM scanner. So that's the one I recommend trying first if you don't already have a good option. So those are the things that you'll need for the course. The labs will not be completed hands-on by you, so you don't need safety goggles and you don't need lab equipment. You only need the lab manual for the lab itself. Okay? Here's information for contacting me. The best way to contact me is my email address, which is right here. Once again, give me 24 hours to respond to you. If I have not given you a response, please email me again. It is not bothering me at all. Here is my office location. I'm on the main campus at Sycamore 301. My office hours are listed here on Wednesdays and Thursdays. You can show up in person, or there's a Zoom link on Moodle that you can log on, and it'll tell me that you log on, and then I will log on. So you might beat me there, just hang out for a minute, and then I'll jump on. If not, you can email me. But really the best way to contact me is via email. I'm happy to answer questions, point you in the right direction, and then office hours are there as well. If you ever don't hear from me after emailing me a couple of times, please contact my department chair, Susan Schwartz. Her email is right here for you. Okay? So here's lots of information in the syllabus for you. A couple of things I'll go ahead and mention is right here it talks about the tutoring center and it gives you the hours. I'll show you also where to find that. There's 2 resources for you as far as tutoring goes. Let me hop to Moodle and I'll show you where to find these things. Right here on Moodle at the top you'll see the tutoring center flyer. When you click on that, it will come up and show you how to link to a tutor, so you can Zoom from home or you can show up face-to-face in the Ferguson building. No appointments are needed. You can just show up during their open times. I highly recommend using the tutoring center. They are available on demand. They're there for 5 minutes. They're there for 3 hours, whatever you need. They can't help you with a test, but they can help you with homework assignments. They can help you with labs, and then they can answer just general questions when you're studying. So students really find that very helpful. And the more you use it, the more it helps, if that makes sense, because you start getting used to tutors, you start getting comfortable asking questions, and they're really helpful there. So that's one way of finding tutoring. The other way for finding tutoring is Smart Thinking, which is fully online. And there's a link right here at the top of Moodle for you. Thinking Storm, I may have said the wrong thing. It used to be had a different name. But Thinking Storm is open 24 hours a day. So that is an option for you, especially if you're working on homework in the middle of the night and you have a question you'd like to ask. You can click on there. Also, no appointment needed, and you can just jump on. Okay? So those are 2 options. I will say in this class that there's a couple of things. Number one, it's a pretty fast-paced course. It's pretty math heavy, and that can make it challenging for students. So it's one of those classes that builds on itself. So if something's not making sense, please seek out help as soon as you can so that you don't get behind. And you can do that through the tutoring center, through Thinking Storm, through emailing me, and use all the resources you can to just keep up with your material and understanding as you go. Another thing I'll say about that is at the top of Moodle, there is course messaging. That is for you guys. I don't even look in the course messaging part, but you can hop on there and say, hey, does anybody understand this question? It didn't make sense to me. Or people a lot of times will communicate with other students through the course messaging. Course announcements up here is how I will communicate with you. So every week I'll send you a weekly email just reminding you what's due that week, what's coming up. And then also if anything changes or there's a mistake or a new announcement, that's how I will communicate. So please check your AV Tech email very regularly. That's the only way I really have to communicate with you guys as a class as a whole. So that's what's there at the top. So if I hop back to the syllabus, so that gives you some tutoring options. And then let me scooch on down and talk about the different parts of the course. So there are 3 portions of the class. There's homework. The homework assignments are going to be on Mastering Chemistry, like I mentioned. So you have to purchase the access code. With that access code, there is a free 2-week trial. So if you can't purchase the access code immediately, you won't get behind. You can go ahead and sign up and begin the assignments for 2 free weeks until you purchase the access code yourself. So that's where the homework assignments are going to be found. And as far as the homework assignments go, you will have 2 chances at each assignment. You can use all of your notes, you can use your book, you can use any resource you want to use. It's all for practice. There is no time limit, so you can take as much time as you want. You also can start and stop as many times as you want. I'm going to pull up Mastering Chemistry to show you what it will look like. So each chapter will have a Mastering Chemistry. Let's see. If you go to, this is how you can actually purchase it too. Go to Google and put in Mastering Chemistry, and you'll click it here. And you'll have to register if you're new to Mastering Chemistry. So I'll sign in. How you would do this for the first time is come down here and say get registered. And when you ask to get registered, it'll ask for your course ID, and I'll show you what that is. So to find your class, what you'll do is on the syllabus, and it's also on Mastering Chemistry. Sorry for the scrolling, just ignore for a minute. Where you'll find, and you know what, it's not going to be correct on here, so let me just go back to the website. It'll be in your syllabus and on Mastering Chemistry, but your course ID is listed right here. So when you go and tell it to get registered, it'll ask for a course ID, and you'll have to put in my little code right here, Willis28538. You'll put that on, and then what you'll end up seeing is the course. So you'll open it up, and you'll see a whole list of assignments and their due dates. So all the assignments for the semester are here as far as homework goes. And there's a few lab assignments on here too. I'll talk more about lab in a little bit. But you'll see that there's a chapter 1 through 10 and then 3 labs. And the due dates are there. You can always work ahead of time as much as you can. But you do need to complete them by that due date for full credit. You can always complete them late. They're just going to be a 5% penalty per day. So the best to do is to complete them on time. Once again, you have up to two attempts on each one, and the highest grade is kept. So you can use 1 attempt, you can use 2 attempts, whatever works for you. It's just going to automatically keep the highest grade. And then I have to manually take these grades and put them into Moodle. So I'll update Moodle every so often, but you won't see the grades in there immediately. So you can start and stop assignments. There's no time limit, etc. So that's where you're going to find your homework, okay? So if we hop back to the syllabus, so that was homework. That's 25% of your grade. Another 25% of your grade is going to be lab. So, the one other thing I didn't say about homework is that your lowest grade will be dropped. So 1 homework will be dropped, okay? Labs, the next 25% of your grade. The way you're going to complete labs in here is on Moodle. You will see a link for labs. It will say link to all lab videos and resources right here. And what that will look like when you click on it is it'll come up with this, and it has every experiment for the whole semester right here ready for you, experiments 1 through 10. What you'll do is you'll open up, let me click a typical experiment. It will have a series of videos for you that you'll go through with data. So what you'll do is you'll have your lab manual that you purchased from the bookstore out and ready when you're going to watch these videos. As you watch the video, you'll see me completing the lab. You'll enter the data into your lab pages, and then you'll answer all questions, answer all calculations, and once your lab pages are complete, you will take a picture, and then using one of those apps I mentioned, you'll convert it to PDF, and then when it's all ready to go, you'll submit it right here under the experiment title. So experiment 1, experiment 2, experiment 3. You can always submit early. As far as late penalty, I'll accept them up to 2 days late for 10% reduction in credit. So please make sure that you complete labs regularly, submit them here in PDF form, and then I'll grade them near the due date. Okay? So remember, that's 25% of your grade. So you had homework 25%, labs 25%. One lowest lab grade will also be dropped. Okay? So those are how homework and lab works. And then tests, they will be completed on Moodle. You have one attempt. Depending on how Moodle goes this semester, if it's really slow, I won't be able to put a time limit. But if it's back to normal functioning, there will be a time limit on tests. We do ask that you follow this honor system, that you're only using your own notes from the course. You're not using another person. You're only using anything that I've provided for you on that test. So you do have the ability to have your own notes out during a test. There is a time limit and you only have one attempt. Okay? I'll let you know about the time limit as tests come. Once again, you're able to work ahead of time. You just need to hit the due dates that I have listed, and I'll show you those here in a minute. So on Moodle, I'll show you where the tests are. They're just down below all the experiments. You'll see the tests listed here, and the ones that are for you will show up, okay? And they'll be there with a due date with a little description of the test. The one other thing I haven't mentioned yet are the lectures, which will always come first, okay? So right here near the top of Moodle, you'll see lectures. So remember, there will be lectures right here, then there will be labs, then there will be tests, and then your homework is on the separate website. So here, when you click Willis Live Videos, what you will see is this will come up. And it's going to show you all of the lectures for the entire semester. They are all me talking, and I'm working through what are called guided notes. What the guided notes look like is just an outline of notes like this. You'll find one set of guided notes for every chapter on Moodle. If you have printing capabilities, I highly recommend printing these. This is exactly how I run my class in person. Is print this, have it in front of you, and fill it out as I'm talking and filling out my own. That way it will help you process the information and not just sit there like, oh, wah matter, you know. So it'll help you to understand the material so much better if you can fill in notes as you go. So if you can print them, do that. If you can't print, I would still recommend writing notes as we talk through the video so that it feels more like a classroom experience and helps you through. So here are all the lectures. You do not have to follow this schedule. You can bump them up forward. You can bump them back a little bit as long as you are preparing for tests and completing assignments as you go. So you'll just click on these and you'll see the lectures. On Moodle, what you'll see is if you scroll all the way down, you start seeing each chapter. So like here's chapter 1. There's going to be a lot of stuff for each chapter. When you hit guided notes, that's where my material starts. The rest is just provided by the department, but guided notes and below is all Willis material. So the guided notes are blank and you fill them in. Then you can see them already filled in if you want to. And then there's just extra practice problems. These are not for grading purposes, these are just for practice. And you'll see that for every chapter. So you'll see random stuff and then guided notes. That's always where you want to start. Print the guided notes and then use the rest of the stuff just as needed. Does that make sense? If you have questions or want to finish practicing some more. So here's chapter 3 guided notes. There you go. So now let me hop down to the schedule, and I think that'll summarize everything we've talked about. So here, the labs are 25%. These are not quizzes. These are just homeworks. The Mastering Chemistry, we've talked about these. So remember, labs, 1 grade gets dropped. Homework, 1 grade gets dropped. And then your tests are 50%. Let me be real clear about tests. Your tests there's not a lowest grade dropped, but what happens is the final exam will count as 2 test grades. And then if it helps you, it will replace the lowest test grade. Okay, so if you had a 50 on one test and you made an 80 on the final, that 80 would replace the 50. Okay? So down here is really where it's going to be the most important for you to see. Here is our schedule for the whole semester. And I've mentioned all of these portions. So what you'll want to do is just follow along each week. And how it'll work is it'll tell you what chapters to listen to in the lectures. Remember, you go find the lectures and the guided notes and listen to the lectures. Then using that lecture, it typically will play a role in that week's lab. Okay, so that week's lab may be based on the lecture material. It almost always is. There are a couple where it's not, but you generally want to do the lecture first. Then the labs, you'll go watch the lab videos, complete the handout in your lab manual. Once you complete the experiment, that's when you take the picture of your pages, you convert to PDF and submit that on Moodle. And then over here is a list of the assignments outside of that. This syllabus assignment, that is for census purposes, and I will email you guys about that. So at the moment, don't worry about that assignment. We are still, as a college, figuring out what that needs to be. But here it'll tell you when the mastering chems are due and when the next test is. So here you've got labs and their due dates, and then mastering chemistry and their due dates and tests. Remember, there's only 3 graded things: experiments, mastering chemistry, and tests. So you'll just follow along. Where you also can find this material or this information is at the top of Moodle. I will always keep it updated with the due dates. So kind of the due dates up to the next test. So you'll see this at the very top of Moodle when you get logged on. The census assignment, I'm going to email you about that once I have more details. But then it'll tell you what are the next couple of experiments, when are they due, when are the mastering chemistries due, and when's the next test. The mastering chemistry and the test will always be on the same day. Of course, I recommend working way ahead of time on the mastering chem, but I just like to give you the flexibility, since you're in an online class, to work ahead as much as you want and to kind of budget your own time. So just please be responsible about that. I cannot let you take tests after the test date, so please email me ahead of time if you know you have a conflict or you can take the test early, so you don't even need to let me know. But if you were, say, in the hospital and some crazy circumstance like that, please do let me know, and we'll try to work things out. But in general, there's not a makeup for tests, okay? So please email me anytime you have questions. I'm happy to answer and help you out throughout the course as much as I can. Hopefully this gives you kind of just a lay of the land as far as where to find the materials and how to work your way through the course. So I hope you have a great semester, and please let me know if you have questions. Take care.